Hello my friends and welcome back to PhilosoGaming. What makes a narrative gaming masterpiece? Part 4. Dark Souls. In Part 3 we talked about how a sticking point of ludonarrative dissonance was controlled in The Last of Us. To take what would have been a point of weirdness and make it into something that encouraged the suspension of disbelief and encouraged the player to embrace the gameplay and enjoy it. But the solution found by The Last of Us doesn't seem to be compatible everywhere, and especially not in Dark Souls. One of the points that Dark Souls is praised for is a level of world consistency progressive enough to be described as being equally as cruel as the combat mechanics. Personally, I think the word cruel isn't fair as a description. Dark Souls is just remarkably fair, putting both the player and the enemies working on the same set of rules, even while crazy bosses seem to be overpowered. Often their movesets are mapped to the same controls as the players. Anyone who is alive can be killed, and all of this combined to make a gameplay experience where skill, strategy, and perseverance above all result in the biggest accomplishments. Few things created ludonarrative dissonance in this game. The difficulty, the hopelessness of the characters, their madness created by a world always falling apart but repeating in cycles, all match the mechanics of the game perfectly. So when I talk about ludonarrative dissonance in this game, it seems like I might have to conclude that its strategy was the same as the Tomb Raider, just minimizing the dissonance wherever possible, and fixing those problems from other similar games. But instead of that, let me get super nitpicky for a moment. And by nitpicking, I mean to say one word. Barrels. Barrels and other destructible environments provide a minuscule but omnipresent source of silliness and enjoyment for the players.
Time for rolling!
Yeah! Oh, this room is your dream!
Oh, yay. Oh god, don't
It's
stop.
So cathartic.
Oh, this is one of those moments where you're like, I just wish it was forever.
Okay.
Wait, was there something here? Oh, time for rolling. Of course it's time for rolling.
Seeing this emotionless, mostly silent protagonist whose whole existence is defined by walking forward, murder, and scavenging in a bleak world, jump whimsically into barrels, library shelves, candlesticks, and the like is out of place and loved by all. Doing that was even encouraged in the games by having the characters' weapons degrade and require repair when they hit enemies, but also degraded when hitting breakable objects. So why spend extra souls hitting that barrel when you could just dive into it for free? But you have to admit how weird it is. It didn't have to be in the game at all. It could have been designed that attacking with your weapon was the only way to break through, like so many other action games. So why purposefully include this dissonant gap? To explain this, I'll need to go on a bit of a tangent. Another piece of work that inspired Demon Souls and the Souls series was Kentaro Miura's manga series Berserk. And in that story is a comic relief character called Puck. Puck is a little happy fairy, always looking on the bright side, and acting tougher than he really is. Berserk as a series, however, is known for being one of the darkest, most traumatizing worlds ever created. And Puck is so out of place in this world that it earned him the reputation of being the most annoying, worst character in the whole story. Now, I tried my best to find the interview and failed, but I remember an interview with Miura where he talked about Puck and described him as a necessary character for the story. Because the story of Berserk is so sad and so tragic, without Puck, he would not be able to write such a story. A little bit of levity is required to be able to get through a thoroughly miserable tale like Berserk. The same rule seems to be applied to the Souls series as well. Of course, characters like Sigurd and Sigmire, Solaire, and others provide some of that, but encounters with them are limited, And seeing these lovable characters batting against the poor state of these worlds can also be a source of sadness. However, the pure stupidity of diving headfirst into a barrel is always present for a player who needs to crack a smile and relax for just a moment. So here's what is remarkable about this decision. Ludonarrative dissonance is supposed to be a bad thing, meant to be removed from games wherever possible, right? But here is the Souls series purposefully putting it into a game that is otherwise devoid of it. It knows that the world it has created is one that is so dark that the average fan shouldn't let their mind stay in that world for too long, or else it will easily get burned out. By adding this little aspect of ludonarrative dissonance, the players get a little micro break from the intensity, and as a result, playtime of the average session of Souls games can increase dramatically. They used ludonarrative dissonance to break up an experience that was too immersive. From here, we are going to jump from nitpicking to outright weird and mysterious, when next week I will be looking at the black sheep of this list, Nier. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay true.